What's up, my comic comrades? Over the past year or so, DC Comics has been putting out some of the best stuff in the industry. It's actually the reason we've had so much DC content recently on the show, as we've been trying to keep up with all the great new books, plot twists, and major reveals DC has been dropping. Don't get me wrong, that's not a complaint, as we love good storytelling, but it got us thinking about some of the other great stories DC has put out over the years, which then ultimately led us talking about our favorite Elseworld stories. It was a wormhole, what can I tell you? Anyway, for those of you who don't know, Elseworld comics are a series of stories published by DC involving DC characters that explore what-if concepts outside of DC canon. For example, it's the platform that's given us Vampire Batman, and even an Old West version of the Justice League. Pretty awesome, I agree. And because it's awesome, we're gonna count down our list of the 10 best Elseworld stories. So yeah, let's do that. Starting off at number 10 is Batman and Dracula Red Reign. Released in 1991, this one-shot, which was the first in a trilogy of stories by Doug Moench, follows Batman as he investigates a string of murders where the homeless victims' throats had been slashed, only for him to discover that the murders are being committed by Dracula himself and his horde of vampires. Batman then goes to battle with the undead bloodsuckers, but becomes a vampire himself along the way. It's gritty, spooky, and a crazy fun take on The Dark Knight that found a way to make sure Batman goes on forever. At number 9, we have Justice Riders. Come on, who doesn't love a good Western? And that was exactly what Chuck Dixon and J.H. Williams III must have thought when they created this Wild West version of the Justice League. The story presents Diana Prince as the sheriff of a town in the Old West called Paradise, where half the town itself is killed by a mysterious power led by villain Maxwell Lord. She then enlists the help of a gunslinging Kid Flash, an eccentric scientist Beetle, a grifter-type Booster Gold, a Native American Hawkman who goes by the name Qatar Johnson, and a mysterious John Jones, all to help her hunt Lord down. The story also gives us Guy Gardner as a bounty hunter who goes by the nickname Kid Baltimore, and is obsessively tracking down Wally West for the murder of Federal Marshal Barry Allen. Clark Kent makes an appearance as Colonel Kent as well. Altogether, it's a really fun take on the Justice League, and it left a ton of room for a much-deserved sequel. Landing at number 8 is The Golden Age from 1993, written by James Robinson. This dark tale focuses on Silver Age characters like Adam and Tex Thompson, formerly known as Mr. America, as well as what happened to the Justice Society after World War II ended, making for one of the smartest and most compelling Elseworld stories ever written, as it grounded the superheroes by dealing with very real-world elements like McCarthyism and the Cold War. Not to mention, when your villain is a superpowered Hitler, things tend to get real. The story also touches on how society treats its soldiers after the battles are over, which is very similar to what Tom King is looking to address in his new series, Heroes in Crisis. Finally, Paul Smith gave this book a classic but dramatic feel with some great artwork. It's definitely one you want to check out. Number 7 on our list is 1994's Batman in Darkest Night, written by Mike Barr. This is a great story all around, but the selling points for it can be narrowed down to one thing. Bruce Wayne becomes Green Lantern. If that doesn't get your attention, I don't know how to help you. Okay, fine, I'll give you a bit more. In this prestige format one-shot, Abin Sur crashes his ship on the grounds of Wayne Manor, just after Bruce makes a disastrous first attempt at crime fighting that leaves him wounded. A dying Abin Sur then tells Bruce that he's been chosen and uses his power to heal Bruce's wounds, just before giving him his power ring. Bruce puts on the ring and Bat Lantern is born. As the story goes on, the newly Green Lantern Bruce battles Sinestro and challenges the Guardians of the Universe regarding the status quo within the Corps. But when the power starts to go to Bruce's head and Sinestro arrives on Earth empowered with a Yellow Lantern ring, the Guardians recruit Diana Prince, Barry Allen, and Clark Kent into the Green Lantern Corps to restore balance. I mean, come on, that's a must-read. Rounding out our first 5, we have Superman Speeding Bullets by J.M. DeMatteis. What if baby Kal-El never crash-landed on Kent's farm in Kansas, but instead crashed to Earth near Wayne Manor and became Bruce Wayne, the adopted son of Thomas and Martha Wayne? Well, this Elseworld story explores that very concept, and after Kal-El/Bruce sees his parents gunned down in front of him, the trauma of the event ultimately turns him into a version of Batman with the powers of Superman. If that's not enough to get you guys going, an explosion at one of Lex Luthor's chemical plants also transforms the ruthless billionaire into Lex Joker, Superbat's greatest enemy. In the end, Speeding Bullets gives us an amazing Superman story set in the world of Batman, where Bruce Wayne grows from vigilante into a symbol of hope for Gotham. It's a really well-written story with plenty of room left to explore, if they wanted to do so. Either way, it earns its place on our list. Okay people, so today's episode is sponsored by Verve. We've been fans of VRV, spelled VRV, for a long time, and it's the streaming platform where we watch some of our favorite shows, like My Hero Academia, Freakazoid, and Gary and His Demons. But now they have officially outdone themselves. Why? I'm gonna tell you why. Because they have just added the entire lineup of my favorite Nickelodeon shows from the 90s with a Nick Splat channel. That's why. I'm not freaking out, you're freaking out. And now you're like, oh my god, I grew up loving and watching Nick in the 90s too. Which shows will be on VRV's incredibly awesome Nick Splat channel? Well, completely random and unspecified person, I'm talking about Doug, Ariel Monsters, Cat Dog, Are You Afraid of the Dark, Salute Your Shorts, Rocko's Modern Life, Guts, and a bunch more. Amazing, I know. And we've got you hooked up too. Just go to vrv.co/variant or click the link in the description now to get a 30-day ad-free trial of VRV Premium, so you could start watching some of your favorite childhood shows all over again. You can also download the VRV app now on Apple TV, Xbox, PlayStation, iOS, or Android, so you can watch these Nickelodeon classics and your favorite animes like My Hero Academia Season 3, Attack on Titan Season 3 from almost anywhere. So what else do you need? Go to vrv.co/variant or click the link in the description to get your ad-free trial of VRV Premium for 30 days and get access to 12 great channels, including the new Nick Splat, Crunchyroll, Rooster Teeth, Funimation, and Cartoon Hangover. But also exclusive series only available to members. And did I mention the amazing new 90s Nickelodeon lineup? Hey, don't tell me to calm down, you calm down. Just don't miss out. Get some VRV Premium and feast your eye holes. Leading our top 5 is the graphic novel Joker by Brian Azzarello. While this story was not published under the Elseworlds banner, it certainly followed the guidelines for one, including it being outside of DC continuity. In summary, this story, which is narrated by one of the Joker's henchmen, is one of the darkest deep dives into the psyche of the clown prince of crime ever written, as it shows the Joker take a liking to a guy named Johnny Frost, and the disturbing way that relationship unfolds, while the Joker goes on a killing spree during a turf war with Harvey Dent. Batman is of course on the hunt, but the focus is on the psychology of the Joker and why/how he does what he does. It's brutal, gruesome, and deeply disturbing, which is essentially everything you want from a good Joker story. And this one is up there. Sitting comfortably at number 4 is the 3-issue series JLA The Nail, written by Alan Davis and published in 1998. Similarly to Speeding Bullets, this story explores a world where the Kents never discover Kal-El's ship after it crash-landed in a field, completely changing the future as a result. When the story jumps forward in time, we find out that Lex Luthor is mayor of Metropolis and is leading a campaign against metahumans, alongside now Deputy Mayor Jimmy Olsen and Perry White. On Assault, he has focused squarely on the Justice League, which in this alternate universe is comprised of Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, The Flash, Hawkwoman, The Atom, Green Lantern, and Martian Manhunter. I don't want to give away too much because this is a smartly crafted story that you should read for yourself, but Luthor and Jimmy's schemes eventually lead to the capture or killing of many metahumans, as well as the framing of Wonder Woman for the destruction of the White House, and brainwashing Metamorpho into murdering Perry White. By the time Kal-El emerges, serious damage has been done, and we see whether he can fulfill his destiny as Superman. It's really freaking good, and it's also worth noting that The Nail was followed up with a sequel in 1998 called Another Nail. It isn't as good as the original, but it's definitely worth a read. Taking our 3 spot is a story that is considered to be the very first Elseworlds story, and also happens to be one of DC's most recent animated movies. I'm talking about Batman Gotham by Gaslight. This amazing Batman story, written by Brian Augustine in 1989, reimagines Bruce Wayne and the Dark Knight during the Victorian era, where he takes on the mystery of the Jack the Ripper murders. Bruce Wayne ends up becoming a suspect in the murders, leading to a twist ending. And if you've already seen the animated movie and you think you know what the twist is, you'd be wrong, because the movie deviated from the comic with several aspects, including the twist. So if you haven't already read the comic for yourself, it's dark, gritty, and really freaking good. The number 2 spot is easily one of the most well-known Elseworlds stories on our list, as well as one of the most interesting. That would be Mark Millar's Superman Red Son from 2003. This is yet another story that asks the what-if question regarding where Superman initially crash-landed on Earth and who found him. Except this time it asks what if Superman didn't even land in America at all, and instead has baby Kal-El crashing in Soviet Russia rather than Kansas. So instead of Supes fighting for truth, justice, and the American way, he fights for Stalin, socialism, and Soviet domination. That being the case, the story follows the Soviet Superman from when the Soviets first revealed him to the public in the 1950s through the 70s and 80s, where Superman becomes an all-powerful despot and Lex Luthor becomes a Kryptonian-hating president of the United States. A lot happens in this action-packed story, including Superman going to war with Wonder Woman's Amazons and Batman playing a very interesting role, but Red Son also deals with some very compelling themes throughout as well. It's actually pretty shocking that we've never gotten a sequel for Red Son, as there's still plenty of room left to explore. But for now, we'll just have to settle for using Red Son Superman in the Injustice game. Taking the top spot at number 1 is the 1996 classic Kingdom Come. This 4-issue miniseries written by Mark Waid and Alex Ross, which focused on a dystopian future within the DC universe, is not only widely considered to be the best Elseworld story to date, it is also placed among the best comic stories ever written, period. In the dark future presented in this story, most of the older DC heroes, including Superman and Batman, have all but retired for various reasons, and a group of younger and more violent superhumans have taken their place. Basically, the new generation of heroes, along with the general public, have embraced a more brutal vigilante style of justice, where the supers have no problem acting as a judge, jury, and executioner. But when Lex Luthor seeks to wipe out all metahumans by organizing the Mankind Liberation Front with several other major DC villains like the Riddler and Catwoman, Superman steps in to put a stop to the chaos and death. He wouldn't be alone, however, as he finally convinces Batman and other older Justice League members to come back together one last time to save humanity and the metahumans from destroying each other. There's quite a bit more involved, including Captain Marvel falling under Lex Luthor's control and going to battle against Superman, but the heart and soul of the series is dealing with the concept that all life holds value and should be treated with dignity and respect. Not to mention, in addition to crafting the story, Alex Ross was also responsible for all the art in the series, and his legendary style brought a depth and realism to the story that was as beautiful as it was effective. Needless to say, this one is a must-own for any comic fan. But that's our list. Some of you might be wondering why Injustice didn't make the cut. Well, that's because we ultimately felt that with the comic being a prequel to the video game, it was a bit too far off the Elseworld trail. But it's definitely worth an honorable mention because it's absolutely amazing. Anyway, as always, now it's your turn to tell us what your favorite Elseworld or alternate universe stories are. So let us know in the comment section down below. First up for Wednesday, August 29th, we have the Silencer Annual 1. Silencer visits Gotham City, which obviously brings her into conflict with Batman. But there's a secret history to Bruce Wayne and the Silencer that complicates everything. Now we have Venom First Host Issue 1. Before Spider-Man, before Venom, there was the First Host. And the First Host has returned in need of Venom's help. Only by reuniting can the two avert cosmic ruin. Next we have Batman Arkham Penguin. The Penguin, one of the Dark Knight's oldest enemies, has emerged as an underworld crime boss, as well as a truly unique figure among Batman's rogues gallery. Here we have Edge of Spider-Geddon Issue 2. With Spider-Geddon just around the corner, Penny Parker and her Spider-Mech are back. And finally, we have the Joker Daffy Duck Special Issue 1. When Daffy Duck pays a call to the Acme Corporation headquarters in Gotham City, he finds the company long gone and their abandoned building now occupied by the Joker. And that's going to bring another episode of Variant to a close, but remember to sign up for Verve as they now have the Nickelodeon 90s lineup. I am super excited for it, and you can get a free 30-day ad-free trial by clicking the link in the description. Other than that, be sure to check out our website, variantcomics.com, and all of our social media links for that is also in the description. But I'll see you guys next time when I talk about all things comics.